Yeah,
You definitely need that in your life.
I do. I really do.
Because unlike the situation on Tuesday, I'm not always going to be there to look menacingly at people.
Yeah, like I wouldn't have had a chance.
Dear.
It's nice to have friends that staunchly defend you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just a tad overprotective.
Well, I am a little as well. And it doesn't need to be a friend. I don't like seeing people who are, um, I don't like seeing an underdog being downbeaten. And I
Yeah,
know that you're like that as well.
yeah,
And I'm not using that term in a derogatory manner at all.
yeah,
But in every fight, there's going to be a David and a Goliath, isn't there?
yeah,
And I think those of us who see ourselves as good people need to stand up
yeah,
for people who aren't in a position of power. And sometimes that power balance is just because of societal pressure, and sometimes a physical thing.
yeah,
I don't like to see women hitting men
yeah,
because I think nobody should hit anybody.
yeah. My background. I come from a background of having done martial arts for 10+ years. I
Yes,
used to compete
yes,
nationally, internationally, where my hobby involved hitting people.
yes.
I did historical reenactment for nearly 20 years, well, just over 20 years. A hobby that involved hitting people with swords and axes and spears and all sorts of things.
I sort of feel like they signed up for it though.
But you have signed up for it, and
Yes.
otherwise, shouldn't be happening.
No, absolutely.
And yeah. My view on equality, and diversity, and things like that is very much that we shouldn't be pigeonholing these diversities and
No,
saying, we've got to have inclusiveness for this, inclusiveness for that. That's exclusive, right? If you're
yes.
saying this lump of people have to be included, and you put them to one side saying they're included and they're included separately, why?
It just builds a silo around people.
Yeah, it is far too siloed.
Yes.
Diversity and inclusion is an area I've done a lot of work in.
Yeah.
I've even had an award nomination for it a couple of years
What?
ago
Get
at
you?
the British LGBT Awards. Um, but very much my view on it, and hey, it's my personal view, is that we should break down all those barriers and stop saying we need trans inclusion and gay inclusion and racial inclusion, whatever.
Mm,
We just need inclusion, right? Everyone,
mm.
it all comes down to rights as well. People say about women's rights and trans rights and this rights and that rights. Human rights. We are all
Yes.
human. We all
Yes.
deserve the same rights.
We absolutely do. It's just that sometimes a particular group's rights are being attacked in some way, like trans rights.
Yeah,
Trans people are being particularly unfairly attacked for absolutely no reason, other than that some people don't want them to be in sports.
yeah.
And I don't see how that translates, because I don't know enough about that argument to make any
Mm,
sort of coherent statement. But what I do know is the fact that as a society, we need to approach how we have trans people in sports in a way that is fair to everybody.
yeah,
And we haven't got there yet. Okay, so that's fine. But how does that translate down to person A not allowed in bathroom B? It just doesn't.
yeah,
It makes no sense. And so we need to, as a whole society, stand up for that and say, this is not okay. Not in my name.
yeah,
Not in my name. And if that means I have to stand up and be ever so slightly stroppy, I flip and well will. Because those people, by their very nature, there's so few trans people. As a minority, they're tiny.
mm,
How can they possibly stand on their own against quite powerful people who've decided that they shouldn't be allowed?
yeah,
It's disgusting. So we all, as a society, need to stand up and say, no, this is just not fair.
yeah,
We need to stay out of other people's bathroom habits.
yeah.
And frankly,
Absolutely.
it's weird to be this obsessed with other people's genitals. It
Yeah,
just is.
yeah. And we often talk about Bristol and how much we
Yes.
love gigging in Bristol and everything.
Yes.
I adore Bristol for the venues and everything else
Yeah.
because so many of the venues there have gone the right way. They've done forms of inclusive toilets. Instead of having ladies and a gents. They've got two separate rooms. One is clearly marked urinals. The other is clearly marked cubicles.
Yes. It's hard to mix those up.
Sorted.
Yes.
If anyone needs to go to a cubicle for any reason,
Yes.
they go to the cubicles.
Yes.
If they need the urinal, they just job done. So simple.
It really is simple.
And these are, as you would in any public bathrooms, it's just separate cubicles with a, common area with the sinks and the mirrors and whatever else there. Anyone can use them.
Yes.
Are there people boycotting that venue because of the way the toilets are now? Are there people going to venues like that, seeing facilities like that, going, that's done right?
Mm.
I certainly am. I know lots of
Yes.
people who are. And that particular one is the Old Market Assembly and the Wardrobe Theatre in Bristol. It's a lovely place.
Yeah.
There's plenty of others around Bristol
Yes.
and I've walked into many a venue, and I'll say to them, where are the loos? I've usually driven an hour, 2 hours to get there.
Yes.
Where are the loos? Oh, they're just through that door there, and they're all inclusive.
Nice.
They're gender neutral. They're individual cubicles, whatever they may be. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
No one is arguing. No one's kicking off that there is a room with sinks and hand dryers that everybody can use, and these separate cubicles.
Yes.
No one's arguing about that. There's no urinals, so no one's going to be stood there while you're walking in to go past them or anything. There's nothing dodgy. It's great. It's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So simple.
Yes.
The facilities are there.
Yeah, mainly. I think there are some other discussions to have. Changing rooms is different.
Changing rooms
but
is very
I'm not
different.
comfortable changing in front of anybody.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what their gender is. I feel really uncomfortable in changing rooms because I don't feel great about how I look. So I don't really want to parade this. I mean, there's some stuff should not be seen. Let's face it. I don't want to parade around in front of anybody, but I don't care. That's not a gendered thing. That's I'm not comfortable changing in front of other people. But I understand people thinking, that's maybe a bigger talk.
Yeah.
And I think we do need to talk about it, but what we need to stop doing is hating about it. That's the difference.
Yeah. I joined a gym in Cardiff 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did, honest.
I believe you.
And I went there. You had, like all gyms, you have to book in for like an induction, and one of the PTs or whatever will give you a bit of a guided tour. So they guided me around the downstairs where they had all the running machines and bikes and free weights and everything else. Then they took me to the upstairs area, which was all the weight machines and the fitness studio and all that sort of thing. And then he went really awkward. As he was pointing out the next feature of what was upstairs. And these are the changing rooms. The ladies is over there and the men's is over there. I just looked at him and said, don't worry about it. I'm not going to be using your changing rooms. I will come here from my house in Barry. I will drive in, ready to do an hour's worth of exercise or whatever. And when I've finished, as sweaty as I may be, I'll get in the car. I'll drive home. I will then have a shower, get changed in the comfort of my own home. I don't want anyone feeling awkward. I don't want to force acceptance on anyone. I don't want to force people to tolerate me being in a place that they may not necessarily feel I belong, even if I know myself. I'm not putting myself or other people in that situation because that's just the way I am. I would rather take out of that argument. Yeah, there will come times where I'm in a position that I will need to use facilities like that, no doubt. But until that time, I just want to be left alone. I want to get on with it. I want to live my life as I've never been able to before. I often talk about the fact, it took until I was 47, 48. 48 years of my life not being comfortable in who I was. I wasn't comfortable as an assigned male at birth, getting changed in a male changing room.
Mm.
When I was playing rugby when I was younger, where sports lessons in school, whatever it may have been, I would happily go home muddy in my sports kit
Mm.
and get changed and have a shower or whatever. I would rather do that
Yeah.
than get changed in the changing rooms because of the way I felt about myself or the
Oh,
situation. Years later, I've come to understand it more.
yes.
I've come to realize why that was.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't because I was one of the chunky kids, because there were other chunky kids. There
Mm.
were more chunky. Yeah, there were more chunky kids than myself. They didn't have a problem.
No.
You know, I didn't understand it all back then. It was a long time ago. We didn't have the knowledge and understanding we do now. It took me years to start getting my head around it all and
Mm.
to understand why I felt as I did. And when I got to grips with that, that then made me realize how difficult it is for people
Mm.
and how we don't understand unless people tell us.
Yes.
So, yeah, we need that understanding and education to bring about more acceptance. We need
Mm.
people being more open about their experiences, about their feelings, about the situations they've been in, because otherwise, people are just going to believe what the Daily Mail says, believe what they see on Facebook memes from rich people who have opinions and too much time on their hands,
Yes.
or whatever else it may be. They're going to believe that. They're going to look at us as the enemy, as someone to be reviled and hated on constantly. And that's not fair.
No.
That's not on at all. All we want, all I want as a person, and I'm not saying all I want as a trans person, all I want as a person, because that's what I am. Being trans does not define me. Being a person defines me. Living my life as I am defines me. Being happy in who I am defines
Yes.
me. That's what's important.
Mm.
And when people understand that and realize that, then they'll realize, hopefully, how petty minded and ignorant they've been in hating on these people who just want to live their best life. Why would you take that away from them?
Why would you? Makes no sense. Well, that wasn't funny,
That was not funny at all. That was deep.
but
And
I'm so pleased that you're able to share that because I think you articulate it really well, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to. And that's just, it's so important that we have these dialogues, isn't it? It's just so important.
100%. You know, and you know me for a shameless plug, but that's exactly why I wanted to write my book.
Yes.
That was the first stage in me getting to where I am now and wherever I might end up eventually. I wanted to write down my life experiences. I wanted to put my story out there for people, if they were interested, if they wanted to, they could pick it up, they could read it. It's not a difficult read. You can smash through that bad boy in 24 hours quite happily.
Is it a bad boy?
It's just a
Just a boy.
just yeah, it's just a turn of phrase. It's one of those down with the kids phrases, isn't it? That's probably about 20 years out of date. Like me. But yeah,
No.
that's why I wanted to get it out there.
Yes.
So if people did feel so inclined as to learn something, to understand people better, to see what it's like through the eyes of someone who's done that, who's lived that experience.
Mm.
That's what it was there for. That's what I wanted it. Is it a bestseller? No. Will it be? Get more of your friends to watch this and order my book. It might be. Just saying.
Yeah, she gets 40p a shot.
Yeah, off Amazon. Buy it direct off me after a gig. I get more, and I'll sign it. But it was literally off the back of that
Mm.
a good friend of mine read that book, and she had a copy of me. She read the book over 2 or 3 days, and in those 2 or 3 days, she was constantly texting me. She was like, "Wow, I never realised that. Didn't realise you felt like that. I didn't realise." Yeah. Or alternatively, going, "Oh my God, you've got weird taste in music." Because my book actually has a soundtrack.
Oh,
So there's suggested listening at the start of every chapter
okay.
based on either the time it's set or what I was listening to at the time or what evoked certain memories or whatever. And so I've actually put together a Spotify playlist
That's very cool.
that can be listened to as a soundtrack to the book. But by the end of the book, she said to me, "Yeah, you're actually quite funny, aren't you?"
Damned by faint praise.
When I'm not coming out with dad jokes all the time, yes, I am. I can be quite funny. And she said that, and she also said, "You should really think about getting that turned into a script, maybe some sort of screenplay. If any of you out there have skills with that, please hit me up." But ultimately, that's what then led on to her daring me to do stand up.
Right.
And I've found that is my soapbox.
She has a lot to answer for.
She does. She does. I don't think you've
Nice
met
work,
her.
my dear.
Don't think you've met her yet.
No.
You will one day, I'm sure. And you can, blame her face to face. But it was, as I say, it was that led me onto this, and very much gave me that vehicle to be. We touched on it earlier that the people who come up to you after a gig say, "I understand that better now," or "I get where you're coming from," or "I've learned something." And it is that fine line between comedy and TED Talk.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a call.
Which we have actually demonstrated neatly today.
Yes, absolutely. I think we've dabbled toes in both sides of the water.
So many toes.